the same way if our daughter had been a boy. She said no. We tried MC and IC, but it didn't work in the end. I assume MC is like marriage counselling, and IC is maybe individual counselling, I don't know. She refused to change, or at least try to. I failed for divorce. We live in Scandinavia, got nearly full custody, and she is our child. Every other weekend, when our daughter gets home, she tells me that she doesn't want to go back. If I'm not coming, I'm willing to file for full custody. Am I the asshole? No, I think that's fairly obvious that you are not. Your wife is getting jealous of her own child. Like, what? That's so weird. It sounds like she has, like, serious, I don't know, like, insecurity issues or, like, attention issues, I don't know. But that is just weird. Am I the asshole for telling my wife I don't feel special that she saved her virginity for me? So my wife, 28 female, and I, 30 male, have been married for about 6 months. My wife was a virgin before she met me. I was not. Things are good overall, but the other night we were having one of those deep late night talks, and she asked me something out of nowhere. She said, "Does it make you feel special that I saved myself for you?" Normally I'd be more tactful, but I'd been drinking, so I didn't even hesitate or think. I said, "Fuck no, I never cared about that kind of thing. Besides, I hate purity culture. Purity culture. Purity culture." She got quiet and a little hurt after that. I wasn't trying to be cruel, I just wanted to be honest. I've never cared about virginity or saving yourself. I think purity culture is toxic and harmful, especially to women, and she knew that about me already. I was trying to convey that I love her for who she is, not because she had or hadn't had sex before me, but apparently she saw it as this huge romantic gesture, and me brushing it off crushed her a little. Since then she's been a bit distant, and I can tell I hurt her feelings. I didn't mean to. I was just being straightforward. I don't want her to think that I love her less, but I also don't want to pretend like virginity means something to me when it really doesn't. So, am I the asshole for being blunt with my answer? I don't know, I mean, like, it's just an argument that you can definitely overcome. Like, it's not, like, life-threatening, I feel, to your marriage. But I think in future, if your wife asks you a question like that, just lie. I mean, the whole thing could have just been overcome if you just said, "Yeah, it makes me feel special," you know? But I don't think it's really that big of a deal. I mean, it might be a big deal to her. I don't know. I think in future, if she asks you questions like that, where you know that it does mean something to her, even if it doesn't mean something to you, just lie. Just lie, just lie, just lie. Am I the asshole for not wanting to use any part of my husband's late girlfriend's name for our child? My husband and I have been together for 6 years, married for 3, and now we're expecting our first child. My husband lost his first girlfriend, Amy, when they were both 21. They'd been together for almost 6 years, and he truly loved her. He was honest with me about her, and about the fact she would always be someone he missed, and he had maintained a relationship with Amy's parents. That was always okay with me. He seemed in a good place to be in another relationship, and he dated before me, so it was reassuring. About 6 weeks ago, my husband mentioned that if we had a girl, he would love to use Amy or Grace, which was Amy's middle name, somewhere in the name. He told me it was something he always thought of doing, and he told me for a boy, he had ways of using masculine forms of Amy or Grace somewhere in a boy's name. I told him I wasn't really on board with that, and he never mentioned this to me before. He asked me why he would, and then he said he didn't know why I'd be difficult about it. It was a few days later he told me he wanted to use the names, and he was putting his foot down, that he should be allowed to. He said we can add it as a second middle name if I first middle name, but that it should absolutely be in there somewhere. He said only someone jealous would be hesitant to use it, like I am. I asked him how he'd feel about it if he were in my shoes, if I wanted to name our child after someone else that I would always love but couldn't be with. He told me he would suck it up for my sake, and he would accept the dead aren't competition. Then he said he would actually be the one suggesting it, and there would be no weirdness for him. It was a couple of weeks later before he brought it up again, and this time he said he would do this even if I loved my late partner more, and was only with him because I couldn't be with my late partner if I had one. I don't. That became something more emotional for me, because it felt like a confession when he brought it up because it was randomly said to me. But maybe it also felt like he might be speaking for his feelings, and how he might think I'd feel. I never had an issue with him loving Amy or remembering her, feeling sad about her death or anything. I just never thought I'd be asked to name my child after her. To me, it feels weird and wrong, and this whole thing has made me insecure in our marriage. I told him as much, and he suggested I was jealous and shouldn't be so threatened by someone who died. He told his sister what was happening a week ago, and now she's asking me to explain my feelings and asking if I'm a woman or a little girl, because only a little girl would be so jealous of a dead partner. I asked my husband why he told his sister, because now she was getting involved. He said he had to vent to someone and he felt I was being unreasonable and unkind about this. Am I the asshole? Personally, I do not think that you are the asshole. I think, first of all, it kind of sounds like he hasn't really processed her death. Like, he's a little bit obsessed with her even though she's dead. I don't know. But to be honest, I think when it comes to naming your child, both parents get to decide. Like, it's not one parent who gets to choose the name. The whole point is that both parents work together to name the kid, and if one doesn't like the name and one does, no matter what the name is, you don't pick it and you decide on something that both of you like. And I think, fair enough, if it was me, I would not want my husband calling our kid after an ex-girlfriend. Like, that is so weird. I just think it's not your fault, it's not your problem, and it sounds like he hasn't really moved on from it, even though he might say that he has, because I don't know, I think that's just weird. Like, you're calling your own kid after your dead ex. Am I the asshole for telling my mum she wasn't the better parent and that it sounded like heaven when she said she'd never talk to me again? I, 23 female, and my mum, 49 female, have never really gotten along. Growing up, she treated me differently from my siblings. I'm the second oldest of 4, and she was always stricter and harsher with me. If I brought home anything less than an A, I got grounded. Even 1 B on an assignment meant trouble. My siblings never had that rule. On top of that, she always commented on my weight. She called me the fat kid, even though I was thin. She never said this to my siblings, just me. As I got older, I realized she liked getting a reaction out of me. At first, I defended myself, but when I stopped, she escalated and even got physical. On my 18th birthday, while I was still in high school, she kicked me out. By then, I was already staying with a friend most of the time, just to get away from her. Now, as an adult, I hardly speak to her. At family events, we may exchange a few words, but that's it. Recently, I was at my sister's place, and she had my mum on speakerphone. I was in the background talking to my brother, and he asked who I thought was nicer, Mum or Dad. Without thinking, I said Dad. My dad wasn't great either. He wasn't around much and could be harsh, but compared to my mum, he's nicer. I also talked to him more, though not a ton. My mum overheard, asked what I said, and I repeated it. She snapped and said she'd never speak to me again. I said, "You're saying that like it's a bad thing. Honestly, it sounds like heaven." She didn't hang up on me, but ended the call on my sister, who was the one talking to her. Later, my sister texted me that my mum took me off her car insurance. I never asked to be on it anyway. She added me without telling me because it lowered her own rate. One day she just said see it was just another way to control me. She's done stuff like this before. When I was younger, she'd put my phone on her plan and shut it off whenever she got mad. That this time was the same. After removing me, she told my sister, since she thinks her dad is the better parent, let him put her on his insurance. I never said better parent. I just said dad was nicer. She also told my sister she hoped my car got impounded, and that she could turn it off through OnStar. My car is fully paid off, so I doubt that's even possible, but the fact she said it was ridiculous. I didn't need her insurance anyway. Before she added me, I was paying for my own. After she removed me, I just went back to mine. Meanwhile, my sister said I was too harsh and should apologize because Mum has done so much for you. I asked what she meant, and she said she put a roof over your head and gave you food and clothes. That's literally the bare minimum of parenting. Now my mum has gone to my grandparents and aunts, saying I was disrespectful and need to apologize. From my perspective, I just answered my brother's question honestly. So, am I the asshole? No, I don't think you're the asshole. I think you were just honest, and even though honesty can be brutal, I mean, if she treated you really badly all those years and you never really said anything, I mean, you were eventually bound to stand up for yourself and say something, and it was just inevitable that you would. So, yeah, I don't think you're the asshole. I think you were just confronting someone who treated you badly, and I don't think there's really a problem with that. Okay, last one. Am I the asshole for telling my husband's best friend the truth? So I, 29 female, am married to my husband, 32 male, and we have this couple of friends. We will call them Tony, 33 male, and Brittany, 33 female. My husband and Tony are best friends. They have known each other since they were 3 years old. Their parents are friends, the whole 9 yards. Tony and Brittany have been together for 10 years, but married for 3. I have known the two of them as a couple since I met my husband. So in total, I have known Brittany and Tony for about 5 years. So since the boys are close, naturally Brittany and I also became close, to the point where I even considered her to be one of my closest friends. Now, earlier this year, it came out that Brittany stated that she no longer feels like she and Tony are in a happy marriage, and that she was having thoughts of divorce. I told my husband this in hopes to maybe talk to his friend Tony to just check on him and their marriage to see if it was really that bad. He told me that we should not insert ourselves in their marital problems and they need to work it out. I said okay and didn't think much of it after that. Fast forward to a couple months later, I was at Brittany's house for a girls' night. We did the usual, which was drinking wine and crafting. 3 of Brittany's other girlfriends were there as well. That is when Brittany dropped the bomb on all of us that she's planning on leaving Tony. I was shocked, but I didn't want it to put a complete damper on the rest of the night, so I stayed and finished my craft. At some point in the night, Brittany and one of her other girlfriends, we will call her Melanie, got really drunk and disappeared for what felt like a long time. I didn't think much of it and decided to get a snack from the kitchen. As I was getting a snack from the kitchen, I heard that what was very obvious make-out noises coming from the guest room. I got very uncomfortable, so I drank some water, gathered my things, and headed home. The next morning, I texted Brittany and said, "Do not lie to me. Did you kiss / make out with Melanie last night? I heard noises and I am not stupid." She said yes. After that, we had a long discussion in person about how I was upset and disappointed in her that she basically put me in a position where it feels like I have to lie for her. The week after this happened, Brittany and Tony got into a really big fight and she told him she wants a divorce. Long story short, the in-laws got involved and urged them to try marriage counselling first. I told Brittany that if they are really going to try marriage counselling, it needs to be based on a foundation of honesty, and she needs to tell her husband she should tell him. Well, fast forward to just a couple days ago. Brittany is still doing the revolving door of, I want to be married, I want a divorce. She even at one point, over the weekend, told everyone that she was done with Tony, packed a bag, and left. She decided to stay with Melanie. Then she comes back on Sunday saying, I can't throw my life with him away, I want to work out, I'm sorry, etc. The secret is eating me alive at this point, and honestly, I just cracked. So I called Tony, and I told him to meet me for lunch, because I need to talk to him in person. I told him the truth. I told him that Brittany and Melanie made out one girl's night. I told him that I was so sorry I didn't say something sooner, and I felt guilty keeping it from him. I told him I originally did not say anything because I was hoping it would come out in marriage counselling, and I wanted to give them a chance to work it out. He understood and told me thank you for telling him the truth. Tony is now filing for divorce and asked Brittany to leave because she lied to him. Brittany went off on me saying, fuck you, you fake ass friend. She's upset with me for telling her husband the truth, which is she cheated on him with another woman. I feel like I did the right thing because I told Tony the truth, but you guys tell me, am I the asshole? To be honest, I don't think you're the asshole. I think, what's her name, Brittany? I think Brittany's the asshole. She cheated on her husband. She made one of her closest friends lie. She made Melanie lie. I mean, I suppose Melanie wanted to lie, but I don't think you're the asshole. I think Brittany is the asshole because she's a cheater and a liar, and she made other people lie, and she made other people cheat. In a way, she made Melanie cheat. Well, she didn't make Melanie cheat, but I think you did the right thing, and I think you chose your morals over your girlfriends